All right, we are live here. Peyton Fleas grounded to second, and he will reach on the E4 here, so Fleas aboard. It's our Auto Select pregame show. Stevens Point's best choice for auto repairs, maintenance, and tires. They have complete auto repair services with locations on Church Street and on Highway 10 East in Stevens Point and on Schofield Avenue in Weston. No matter your automotive needs, look to Auto Select, and you are good to go. Our starting lineups here brought to you in part by Associated Bank, where in every market they serve, Associated Bank is committed to uplifting colleagues, customers, and communities to be stronger. So Coy Karolounis here hitting second. That ball lifted into the air. That's going to get in foul territory, and the play will be made in foul territory. That is Rylan Winkler there over to make the play for the first out here. So Karolounis flies out to the F5 here. So the first out here, and that'll bring up the right fielder and Zach Richter. Left-handed Matt Bixler on the hill working out of the stretch here for the Double Days. Fleas aboard at first. Thought about it for a moment, and he'll retreat back in. Again, our starting lineups here, you've got Fleas, Karolounis, Richter, Ostrowski, Caden Weinfurter, Braden Marschke, Trevor Hansen, Tyler Cluck, and Anthony Racek. And as we mentioned, the left-hander Matt Bixler on the hill here for the Double Days. Mason Winkler behind the dish here for Appleton. Bixler's 1-0 to Richter. And Richter fouls that one back, and it's 1-1. Defensively around the infield for Appleton, you've got Brandon Toback over at first. Got Dawson Burrington over at second. TJ Parker at short. Rylan Winkler over at third. And in the outfield, you've got Ben Byer in left. Ethan Winkler out in center, and then Jackson Sabrowski out in right field here for the Double Days. Fleas on the move, a swing and a miss, throw down, and Peyton Fleas will be in with a stolen base. So Peyton will get the nod here in this first of two games here for the Sixers. They'll play again shortly after this one, around 3:30 or so against Menominee. Couple games last night. Richter drives that one out to left field. That one's going to be caught there. And the second out here, that was Ben Byer to make the play there for Richter for out number 2. So the F7 to retire Richter. And that'll bring up the catcher here in Matthew Ostrowski. Sixers with a runner in scoring position with Peyton Fleas, and it looks like he'll get a courtesy runner, presumably so that he can get himself set here to pitch here for the Sixers. Last night we saw a combination of Austin Gray and Tyler Cluck in that first one for the Sixers. Then you had Caden Weinfurter and Matthew Ostrowski in that nightcap for the Sixers in terms of pitching. And it looks to be Royce Lone on the courtesy running duties. That one in there for a called strike. It's 0-1 now to Ostrowski. Bixler working from the stretch, keeping an eye on Royce there. That ball lifted into the air. That is going to... Play will be made here, so the F8 to retire Ostrowski for the third and final out here. No runs, no hits, no errors. A runner left on here. We'll move to the bottom half of inning number 1. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Bottom 1 coming up here in just one moment.
Does your roof need attention? Don't replace it, restore it with Seamless Commercial Roofing. Our process is guaranteed and a fraction of the cost of replacement with no downtime. When your roof needs attention, call Seamless Commercial Roofing in Marshfield.
Is your business, church, or organization getting a fair deal on your copier contracts? Do you even know how much you're spending? Bauer & Fine Business Technologies has been in the office technology industry for 70 years. We have an award-winning service department, and customers love our fair and flexible service contracts. If you're currently a customer, thank you. If you currently work with one of our competitors, let's talk. We can tell you if you're overpaying or getting a good deal. BBT, we want to be the easiest vendor you work with. b-bt.com.
All right, we are back. Bottom half inning number 1 here. The starting lineups here for the double days. Again, our starting lineups brought to you in part by Associated Bank, where in every market they serve, Associated Bank is committed to uplifting colleagues, customers, and communities to be stronger. You're stout with Ethan Winkler, followed by Dawson Burrington, Jackson Sabrowski, Dan Deek, Rylan Winkler, TJ Parker, Brandon Toback, Mason Winkler, and Ben Byer, your order here for the double days. Defensively for the Sixers, of course, Peyton Flees out on the hill. Defensively behind the dish, you've got Matthew Ostrowski, the infield. Coy Karalunas over at first. Trevor Hansen over at second. Caden Weinfurter over at short. Anthony Rochek or Tony Rochek at third. And then in the outfield, you have Tyler Cluck out in left. Braden Marschke out in center here today. And then Zach Richter out in right field defensively for the Sixers. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors. Dahl Automotive. The Dahl family of vehicles has been earning 5-star reviews since 1911. Now we'd like to earn your 5-star review at their new Dahl Honda and Dahl Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealerships in Stevens Point. Learn more online at dahlauto.com. So Flees is going to hit Ethan Winkler. So Winkler aboard on the hit by pitch here. Peyton just finished his first year of collegiate baseball. Of course, the Pacelli 2024 graduate. That'll bring up the second baseman here in Dawson Burrington. Had a chance to talk to his dad, Ryan, a little bit before the game. Ryan and I go back a number of years. That one misses outside and low. It's 1-0 now to Burrington. Ryan mentioned that Dawson will be playing his college baseball down at Wisconsin Lutheran in the fall here. Runner on the move, throw down to second is not going to be in time, and Winkler will be in there with a stolen base. And it's 2-0 now to Burrington. So Appleton with a runner now in scoring position. Flees working out of the stretch here for Stevens Point. And Flees, that one misses down low, and the count now goes to 3-0. Jackson Sabrowski, the on-deck hitter here for Appleton. And that'll be a 4-pitch walk given up to Burrington, so Burrington aboard now. And that gives way for the right fielder in Jackson Sabrowski. So Appleton, they'll be back in action here at about 6 o'clock or so here today against Marshfield. And then they will be back in action here around 1:30 or so as the game time against Wisconsin Rapids in this 3-day Legion tournament out here in Wisconsin Rapids. It is 1-0 now to Sabrowski. Flees 1-0. That one misses high, and it's 2-0. Peyton, we saw, had that 2-run home run last night in the first game against Marshfield, right over that 365 sign out in left field there. Flees misses down and in, and it's 3-0 now to Sabrowski. Nobody out here, bottom half of inning number 1. And Flees' fastball catches the corner. It's 3-1. Hitters count now to Sabrowski. And a swing and a miss, so Peyton working himself back into this count. It's full now. The 3-2 offering to Jackson. That one is going to miss high, and that's going to load bases up here for the designated hitter in Dan Deek. Still nobody out here. Matthew Ostrowski out to maybe say a few words to try to talk to Peyton a little bit. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here today. Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. For all of your tire and auto service needs, look to Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Great deals on tires that fit your needs is a sure thing to get back on the road. That's Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. So Dan Deek here with the bases loaded, nobody out. Fleece. And that one's going to miss downstairs, and it's 1-0 to Deek. Rylan Winkler awaiting on deck here for the Double Days. And that one in there for a called strike. It's 1-1 now to Dan. So Fleas misses on that one. Count goes now to 2-1. And that one fouled. Count goes even at 2-2 now. Of course, Peyton, we saw predominantly a center fielder here for the Sixers, but we saw him over at short. And I have to be honest with you, a pretty natural shortstop last night from what I could saw. Made several nice plays over at short here for the Sixers. Just really an all-around good athlete, and first time I've seen him pitch here for Legion this year, but I know that he's certainly no stranger to working out on the hill here. The 2-2 offering, that one going to be hit out of play, goes foul. So our main 2-2 now here to Dan Deek, the designated hitter and the cleanup hitter here today for the Double Days. Fleece working from the stretch here, the pitch. That one hit up the middle, and that's going to drive in a run. And very well could drive in 2 runs, in fact. And it does. So our 2 RBI single for Dan Deek. So Winkler comes across to score, as does Burrington. That'll bring up the third baseman, number 5 hitter, and Rylan Winkler. The 2 RBI single for Deek. Sabrowski down at second. Fastball, that one misses high, and it's 1-0 now to Winkler. The 1-0 here, that one's going to catch the corner, and it's a called strike, and it's 1-1. Shortstop TJ Parker over in the on-deck circle for the Double Days. Still nobody out here. And Fleas going with a heat. It's 1-2 now to Winkler. Peyton works from the windup here. Now he'll go into the stretch here. The 1-2 offering. And a swing and a miss. So down on strikes is Rylan Winkler for the first out here. The first Serb-Pro Jamie Wenzel strikeout here today for Peyton Fleece. And that brings up the shortstop here in TJ Parker. And that one just misses, and it's 1-0 now to TJ. You've got first baseman Brandon Toback over in the on-deck area there for the Double Days. Fleas misses outside now, and it's 2-0. And that one, a swing and a miss to Parker now. Count goes to 2-1 now to Parker. Double Days head coach by Jesse Parker here. Runner on the move to third. There'll be no throw down, and Sabrowski will swipe third base. So now you've got runners. We'll see what they're they're going to say here, it looks like they're going to have Sobrowski go back. I guess I didn't necessarily catch the reasoning for that. And they're talking it over here, collaborating it over, in fact. I guess I did not catch that. So Sobrowski back to second and Deke down at first. 3-1 now to Parker. That ball's going to get out of play and go foul. That one lifted out to right field. That should be playable for Richter, who comes in on it. So Richter makes the play for the F9 to retire TJ Parker for the second out here, and that'll bring up the first baseman here in Brandon Toback.
Now batting the first baseman, number 11, Brandon Toback.
So Parker flies out to Richter. Richter did a nice job to come in on that one. That was one of those baseballs that was kind of hit, or Hansen had a play at it possibly as well, into the very shallow portion of right field. It's 1-0 now to Toback. That ball's going to get lifted out of play, and that's going to see if that reaches the nets there, and it does. The cage is over there, in fact. 1-1 now, the count. Catcher Mason Winkler on deck here with 2 outs. That one hit over to short, and that one's going to get through. And a run. We're going to have a throw at the plate here, and he will be in there safely. So an RBI single for Toback. So Jackson Sobrowski in there to score the third run.
Now batting the catcher, number 21, Mason Winkler.
So Toback with the RBI single to plate Jackson Sobrowski. Deke down at second, Toback at first. 2 outs here, and Mason Winkler double days with a run on the board. That one's that'll be just foul. That one was hugging that line there. Had that gotten down, that probably would have been extra bases, and in all likelihood at least another run in that situation based on where that one was hit, but it is a foul ball, and it's 0-1. So Fleece right around 29 pitches unofficially, it looks like. And that ball going to be fouled back, and it's go 0-2 now. Although I'd say it's pretty official, the pitch count. They do a phenomenal job up here in Rapids. Never skip a beat, the group here. They're a good bunch of folks here. Nice complex here. Good day for baseball. Just about a 22-minute jaunt from Plover, so. The 0-2 here from Fleece. Fastball. He may have put a little extra something on that one. That's going to get away, though, and it's going to allow both runners to advance here. So Deke will get down to third and Toback down to second now. Count is 1-2 here now to Mason Winkler. And that one's going to get a piece of Winkler here, so the hit by pitch. And that'll load the bases up now for the left fielder here in Ben Byer. Looks like we're going to get Brady Kern will do the courtesy running here for the catcher, Mason Winkler. So bases are loaded here, still 2 outs.
The left fielder, number 6,
And Coach Opiola out to say a few words here. A mound visit for Stevens Point. We'll stay right here, though. Certainly want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here today, one of them being an Infinity Exteriors. Infinity Exteriors installing peace of mind, roofing, siding, and windows built to last. Saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors, we guarantee quality that you can trust. That's Infinity Exteriors. Today's game also brought to you in part by Cheese Pleasers in Bancroft. They are a local hidden gem filled with all the finest cheeses, snack sticks, cheese curds, and cheese trays. For Wisconsin's finest cheese, stop at Cheese Pleasers right off I-39 in Bancroft. So Coach Opiola out to say a few words with his hard-throwing right hand. It looks like we are going to have looks like a pitching change here. Looks like Fleece day will be over. We'll take a brief commercial pause as a result. We'll bring it right back here to tell you all about it. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Bringing it back here in one moment.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love home furniture.
Hi, this is Jill from Home Furniture and Design. Since 1970 and 4 generations, our family has been proudly offering quality furniture like Lazy Boy, Serta, and the Amish to Central Wisconsin. We also offer free in-home design with our professionally trained designers to help you create a space that is uniquely yours, whether it's just a sofa or the entire home.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love home furniture.
West Grand Avenue, Wisconsin Rapids, and Post Road in Plover.
Are you tired of being a boring old tree, bird, or mythical war hero? Find the right job for you at Express Employment. Stop today and discuss positions that fit your abilities and qualifications, leading you to the perfect job. Always local, always strategically selected to match your skill set with local employers. There's a perfect job out there. Let Express Employment professionals help you find it. In Wausau, Stevens Point, Medford, and Marshfield. Find jobs and apply online at expresspros.com.
Rich, creamy, and fun. Point Craft Soda. Caffeine free, made with 100% real sugar. From Stevens Point Brewery.
So Royce Lau now into the game here for the Sixers. So Peyton Flees goes the 2/3 of an inning here. Would be responsible for all 3 runners on base here, and Royce Lown here working with 2 away, and left fielder here and left-handed hitting Ben Byer. So Appleton stakes claim to the early lead here, 3-0. Lown and the Sixers looking to try to prevent any more base runners and or runs here. It's 1-0 now to Byer. Byer, the right-hander, working from the stretch here for the Sixers. Pitch on the way. That one is in there for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-1 to Byer. Courtesy runner there, Brady Kern down at first. Got Toback down at second and Dan Deek down at third. That one's going to get down low, and it's going to go now to 2-1. The 2-1 offering to Byer. That one lifted into the air into left field. That should be playable, and it is. And the F7 here to retire Ben Byer for the 3rd and final out here. But the Double Days do strike first. They get 3 runs on a couple of hits here. 1 inning in the books here. We'll move to the top half of inning number 2. Appleton out front here, 3-0. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Top of 2 coming up here in just one moment.
Hi, I'm Josh Marks, owner of Infinity Exteriors. 9 out of 10 brand new roofs can't pass a simple manufacturer warranty inspection, meaning 9 out of 10 brand new roofs have no warranty. Infinity operates on principles instilled in my Marine Corps service: honor, courage, and commitment. Infinity is meticulous craftsmanship, unbeatable quality, and always at the best price. Infinity buys more, pays less, passing those savings directly to you. We're booking new roofs, siding, and windows. Call today.
Hello, Wisconsin. Phelps Dairy Store in Stevens Point is your spot for family fun. Wisconsin style at the farm. Come have an ice cream or some of their daily made fresh cheese curds while observing the robotic barn milking the cows. Ask for a tour of the farm or let the kids see the cows up close. Various Wisconsin-made dairy and beef products, seasonal decor, and outdoor activities are just the start of the family fun that awaits you at the Phelps Dairy Store, just a half mile from Walmart in Stevens Point. Phelps Dairy Store, food, family, and fun.
All right, second inning here. Caden Weinfurter lead things off here. You've got 5, 6, and 7 here for the Sixers. Weinfurter, Marschke, and Hansen. Caden, the shortstop. Caden pitched last night, and tell you what, I thought he pitched very well last night. Nearly went the entire full 7 innings. Had the 7 Serb Pro Jamie Wenzel strikeouts, did Weinfurter last night. I thought pitched a very, very solid game. That ball hit up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. So Weinfurter leads things off here in the top half of inning number 2 with a base hit, and that'll bring up here the center fielder in Braden Marschke.
Now batting the center fielder, number 16, Braden Marschke.
Matt Bixler out for his second inning of work here, the lefty. Weinfurter down at first. Pitch on the way, bunt being shown, and a pretty nice bunt as that will get Weinfurter over to second.
Now up the second baseman, number 77, Trevor.
So one away, the sac bunt there for Braden Marschke to move Caden Weinfurter over to second. And that'll bring up the second baseman here in left-handed hitting Trevor Hansen. Lefty versus lefty battle here, and Bixler misses high, and it's 1-0 to Hansen. Tyler Cluck, the left fielder, awaiting over on deck here for Stevens Point. Bixler's 1-0 here to Hansen. And that one in there for a called strike, and it's 1-1. Bixler, that one is going to miss inside, and it's going to go now to 2-1. So 3 hits between the two teams, the difference being the 3 runs, though, for Appleton. And that one's going to get grounded foul. It goes even now at 2-2 to Hansen. The 2-2, that one hit out into left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. That's going to get Hansen over to second. So Weinfurter down to third. Hansen with the base hit there.
Now batting the left fielder, number 10, Tyler Cluck.
So you've got a couple runners now in scoring position for the Sixers, 1 away, and the left fielder here in Tyler Cluck. So Sixers now threatening to get themselves on the scoreboard here. Bixler, that one's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 now to Cluck. Certainly the, as you can see, scoreboard 2 hits for both squads here, but as we just mentioned, the run differential, the 3, primarily the walks certainly do not help, as they would say. So it's 0-2 now to Cluck. And Cluck down on strikes, and that's the first Serb Pro Jamie Wenzel strikeout here today, called Jamie Wenzel at Serb Pro, or the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Serb Pro like it never happened. So that'll bring up the third baseman here in Anthony Racek. You have to think a hit scores 1, maybe 2 here with 2 away. with Hansen down at second and Weinfurter down at third here. It's 1-0 to Racek. Bixler's pitch, that one lifted into the air. Toe back, camps under it. He'll make the play there, and the F3 to retire Racek. Or the third and final out here. So the Sixers strand a pair, though a couple hits, no runs. We'll move to the bottom half of inning number 2. Appleton out front here 3-0. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Coming back in.
Imagine if your orthopedic clinic, surgery center, and physical therapy were all in one place with one team. At Stevens Point Orthopedics, you'll have a clinic where a friendly voice always answers your call. If you need further care, it's a short walk to meet our surgery center team, or down the hall to meet a group of our physical therapists. There is one space and one team for the best orthopedic care in central Wisconsin. That's Stevens Point Orthopedics, world-class treatment and hometown care.
Selling your car to Dahl Auto is quick and easy. Bring your title and keys, and you'll have a check in as little as 30 minutes. Still owe money on your vehicle? No problem. We'll take care of it. Dahl Auto. Simple.
For the best food in town, look no further than Rock and Roll Cafe on Stanley Street in Stevens Point. This locally owned, 50s-themed diner loves to support their community while providing a full menu of breakfast and lunch options, along with all-day breakfasts and Friday fish fry. Enjoy a fun, family atmosphere with delicious meals made from scratch, including skillets and tasty burgers. Dine in or take out is welcome, Mondays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Treat yourself to a mouth-watering experience at the Rock and Roll Cafe on Stanley Street in Stevens Point.
Rasmussen giving me the proverbial thumbs up here. Bottom 2 coming up here. You've got the top of the order with Ethan Winkler, Dawson Burrington, and Jackson Sabrowski. Royce Lown back out for his second inning of work here for the Sixers. Again, 1, 2, and 3 coming up here. Winkler was hit by a pitch back in his first plate appearance. Stole a base and scored a run as well. So his second plate appearance here today for the Double Days. Lown working from the stretch here. Pitch on the way, that one just misses, and it's now 1-0 to Winkler. Lown's 1-0 to Winkler. That one's going to miss outside, and it's going to go now to 2-0. Lown's 2-0 offering. That one lifted into the air. Richter out in right field, calling for it, coming in and making the play there. The F9 to retire Winkler for the first out here. And that'll bring up the second baseman here in Dawson Burrington. He walked in his first plate appearance, scored a run as well, did Dawson. The Wisconsin Lutheran product here that'll be taking his collegiate, playing his collegiate ball over at Wisconsin Lutheran down near the Milwaukee area. That one in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 now to Burrington. So it's 0-1 now to Dawson. Dawson lifts that one out of play, foul, and it's going to go now 0-2. So as we mentioned, Appleton, they'll play again here around 6 o'clock here today. And then they'll have a game tomorrow at 1:30. The Sixers, on the other hand, will play right after this one, same field here, about 3:30 or so. Certainly dependent upon how things go here. That ball fouled back by Burrington. Count remains 0-2. About 325 down the lines here, 380 to straightaway center. And that ball smashed foul, and it's will remain 0-2 now. I want to give thanks to Whitetail Properties. Whitetail Properties Real Estate is your premier hunting land, farmland, and recreational land broker. If you're looking to buy or sell, Central Wisconsin agents are Brian and Evan Roosh at whitetailproperties.com. That's Whitetail Properties. So the 0-2 here to Burrington. And Dawson following that one back. So as we mentioned earlier, Fleece started this one, gave way here to Royce Lown. And Lown, and that one going to be lifted out into shallow right center, and that'll be in there for a base hit for Dawson Burrington. So 1-out single for Dawson. That'll bring up Jackson Sabrowski here. He walked and scored a run back in the first.
Now batting the right fielder, number 12, Jackson Sabrowski.
Lown from the stretch here with Burrington with a moderate lead there at first. That one's going to miss downstairs, and it's going to go 1-0 to Sabrowski. Jackson, the right fielder here today in this one. Burrington on the move. There'll be a throw down, and it's not going to be in time, so Burrington will swipe second base. And that one a called strike, and it's 1-1 now to Sabrowski. A little bit of breeze here today on this 28th day here in June. And that one a swing and a miss. Count now goes to 1-2 now to Sabrowski. Royce getting his signs from Matthew Ostrowski here. Likes what he sees now. It's 2-2. And that one in there for a called third strike, and Sabrowski down on strikes for the second out here. The first Serb-Pro Jamie Wenzel strikeout here today for Sabrowski. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Dan Deek. Had the 2 RBI single back in the first here. So Dan 1 for 1 here today. The offering to Dan, that one is a off-speed pitch. That's going to go 1-0 now to Dan. Rylan Winkler on deck here for the Doubledays. 3-0 early goings here, top half of inning number, beg your pardon, bottom half of inning number 2. And Lown's pitch gets outside, and count now moves to 2-0 to Dan. Royce here, around 18 pitches or so. That one's going to be slapped foul now, so it'll go 2-1 to Dan Deek. Dan, the cleanup hitter here for the Doubledays. Lown checking the signs from his battery mate there in Ostrowski. The 2-1 pitch here to Dan. That one's going to miss outside, and it's hitters count 3-1 now. The 3-1 pitch coming up from Royce Lown to Dan Deek. That one is going to get out of play and go foul. So that'll move the count now to full. Of course, the Sixers head coach Bobby Opiola, assisted by Brian Klisch and Sean Seekaj. That one hit out to right field to Richter. That's going to play to... Well, no, it's not actually. It's... They're going to hold him. A nice throw there to limit that run from scoring there. So, 2-out single. So Dan Deek now with a couple of hits here today. So Burrington down to third now, and Deek at first. Rylan Winkler coming up 0 for 1 here today. Struck out back in the first. Runners at the corner here, 2 away. Royce Lown and working in here to try to get a pitch that he likes from Ostrowski. Time will be called here momentarily. So the Doubledays with 4 hits on the board here. Runner on the move, and that one's going to hit Winkler. And that's going to load things up here now. For the shortstop here in TJ Parker. TJ 0 for 1 today. He flew out to right field to Richter back in the first. He'll have bases loaded here, so Lown looking to try to prevent any additional damage here. Just the 3 runs across here. A lot of baseball in front of us. But certainly TJ Parker in a pretty big spot here with the bases loaded and 2 away. That one hit on the ground over to Weinfurter, and he will be unable to make the play there. So the E6 will score a run here, and Burrington coming across to score the 4th run. Deke will go to third on that.
Batting first baseman, number 11, Brandon Tobach.
And that'll bring up the first baseman here in Brandon Tobach, who had the RBI single back in the first. Appleton now with their 4 runs on the board here. Bottom half inning 2. That one misses outside, and it's 1-0 now to Tobach. Mason Winkler awaiting in the on-deck area here should Tobach reach. And Lown's going to miss outside, and count now is going to go to 2-0. And Lown misses outside. Count now. We'll go 3-0. You have to think take all the way here. Nowhere to put Tobach. And that one in there for a called strike, and it's 3-1. So hitters count now to Brandon. Good to see a fellow Brandon out here, right?
It's not a household name.
And that one in there for a called strike. And they're going to get the play there at, wow, you don't necessarily see that a lot. So Tobach will come back up here, but they do get another run across the board here and a couple of hits. We'll move to the 3rd inning of play. Appleton out front here 4-0. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports. Brought to you in part from the Hoff-Favor Real Estate Group. 3rd inning coming up here in just one moment.
At Ridgetop, we are your trusted, local, affordable exterior renovations expert. Isn't that right, Bo?
Exactly, especially when we are working on someone's biggest investment.
Can you give us an example, Bo?
Well, There was this house. We replaced the roofing, siding, and windows. Then they left a 5-star review.
One of our thousands of 5-star reviews?
Exactly.
For your free, no obligation estimate, call us today or go to ridgetopexteriors.com.
Mega Custom Apparel, your local source for quality, custom decorated clothing and products. Discover a wide range of products from corporate casual wear to team uniforms, promotional items, sporting goods, and awards. Don't settle for less. With our in-house production, we will make your name or event stand out with custom sports jerseys, branded cooler bags, and personalized can coolers. Celebrate team success with custom awards.
All right, we are back. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors. One of them being the Little Scholars Childcare. Little Scholars and Little Scholars Beginnings are two beautiful childcare and preschools in Stevens Point, offering early child learning for infants through 4K. You'll find great facilities and a comfortable environment to help your child grow. Visit littlescholars.com. So Royce Lown in, and he hits that one foul. Giving chase to that was Brandon Toback, making a good effort there in foul territory. So Lown hitting here in the number 1 slot here. The gave way back in the first with Peyton Fleece, so he'll hit in that spot. That ball lifted out into Burrington there to make the play there to retire Royce Lown for the first out. The F4 to retire Lown and out number 1. And that'll bring up Coy Karalunas here, 0 for 1 here today. Flew out to third base, back in the first. Bixler working his third inning here for the Double Days. That one in there for called strike, and it's 0-1 now to Coy.
I'm looking at his bat. It looks like a pencil.
Coy sporting the pencil bat, indeed. Yes, that is... Question is it a number 2 pencil?
I don't know.
I remember those days where you had to have
Exactly. You had to have a number 2 pencil.
a number 2 to take the exam where you filled in the little circles. A, B, C, or D. When in doubt, choose C, right?
That's right.
That's 2-1 to Coy. Seen a few of those bats during the high school season. And that pencil bat's going to come in handy because that's going to be a base hit for Karalunas there.
Actually, I like the true and false. She had a 50-50 shot of getting it.
Yes, the true and false definitely did. Your odds were much better in those situations. And I feel like true probably was more... You might be more correct if you chose true, I feel like. Of course, then you had the essay exams, too. Those can't necessarily go wrong on those either, I guess. Runner going here. Richter swinging a miss, and Karalunas in there with a stolen base. And it's 0-1 now to Richter. Top half of inning number 3. Matt Bixler working from the stretch here. The 0-1 to Karalunas. That one will miss down and in now, and it's 1-1 to Zach. So Bixler with 22 pitches here has pitched pretty darn efficiently this early goings. That one misses outside, and it's 2-1. Bixler's 2-1 offering. That one's outside, and it goes hitter's count now 3-1 to Richter. Zach 0 for 1 today. Flew out to left field back in the first. And Richter draws the base on ball, the 1-out walk. So that'll bring up the catcher here, number 4 hitting Matthew Ostrowski. Matthew is 0 for 1 today. He flew out to center field back in the first. Toback in on the grass there over at first. That one misses, and it's 1-0 now to, guess maybe not necessarily the grass, we'll say the turf. Really well manicured turf. That one's in there.
I was going to put this in my lawn. I won't have to cut it.
That would be kind of nice.
Be green all the time.
It would always be green, yeah, even in the dog days of winter here. That one hit over to third, and we'll see. I didn't see a call. He's going to say he's safe. Yeah, he's going to say he did not apply the tag, it looks like. So Carolinus going to get over to third, and Richter's going to get down to second, and Ostrowski aboard. They're going to talk this one over here and see. It looks like, it's tough certainly from this angle to see it, the argument possibly of whether the runner was in or out of the baseline perhaps.
Brandon, the way that rule is, they say there's 3 feet, on each side. But the thing is, it's actually where the runner started originally. So if he's taking a lead out of second and he's actually 3 feet, now you can go 6 feet outside that.
Okay. So that's what. Yeah. Good. That is good. Yeah. I think that's probably exactly what they're talking about here.
Because it's actually where the runner started originally.
Originally from the.
And
yeah.
he could be 3 feet. Towards the shortstop.
Number 24.
And so now you get another.
You get another 3. Yeah.
Beyond that, yeah. So yeah, you can be 6 feet away from third base and still be legal.
And still, yeah. No, that's a good point. So bases loaded now with still just the one out, and Caden Weinfurter. Caden 1 for 1 here today. That one fouled back. Caden singled back in the second. Looking to maybe get on the board here for the Sixers. Probably their biggest threat here thus far in these early goings. You'd have to think a hit gets you a couple runs in this situation in all likelihood, certainly with Richter down at second and Carolinus down at third. It's 1-1 now to Weinfurter. And that one in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2 now. That one lifted out into left field. And he's not going to make the play out in left field, and that's going to be a couple runs here now for the Sixers as Carolinus will score. As does Zach Richter. And Ostrowski's going to get down to third on that. Weinfurter to second. And the E7 there.
Up batting the center fielder, number 16, Braden Marshke.
So Stevens Point on the board now with a couple of runners in scoring position here. And Braden Marshke. Braden had the sack bunt, the 1-3 sack bunt back in the second. That one hit over to second to Burrington. And he'll not be able to make the play there. And so a couple more runs will come across as both Ostrowski and Weinfurter score on that. So all of a sudden it's a ball game here again. That one in there for a called strike to Trevor Hansen. It's 0-1. I believe, it's four apiece now as I understand it. Hansen 0-1. All the while still just the one out here. So Stevens Point clawing back in this one. That one fouled back into the netting now, and it's 0-2 to Hansen. Again, as we mentioned, Trevor 1 for 1 here today, singled back in the second. Bixler's pitch, and Marschke on the move. There'll be a throw down to second, and Marschke will be in with a stolen base. So now Stevens Point with their go-ahead run down at second. That one hit over to Toback. He'll take it himself. He'll step on one for the second out, and Marschke will advance over to third now, so 2 away. And that'll bring up the left fielder here in Tyler Cluck. Tyler 0 for 1 here today. Tyler struck out back in the second. Bixler working that pitch, going to get down the foul line here, and it's going to get out of play. And Toback making a good effort, but unable to get to that one. It's going to go now to 0-1. So again, Cluck 0 for 1 here today. The Sixers go-ahead run just 90 feet away, and Braden Marschke down at third. Based on the lead there, it's about 87 feet, we'll say, roughly. Give or take. It's 1-1 now to Cluck. Bixler's 1-1, offering that one grounded over to third. And the throw is made, and the 5-3 ground out to retire Tyler Cluck for the third and final out. But the Sixers do get 4 runs on that. Tied up here. We'll move to the bottom half of inning number 3. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Bottom 3 coming up in just one moment.
I got referred to the orthodontist, and I was really nervous, but in my 2-year process, the staff was very welcoming and very kind to me. My brother also had treatment here, and he was very happy with a smile. I'd recommend Bruce Orthodontics to all my friends and family that want a beautiful smile just like us.
When I come in for my appointment, the wait is really short. All of the workers are very kind and sweet. They try to make sure that everything in my mouth is just right after my checkup, and Dr. Bruce is very nice.
I'd love the opportunity to meet you and transform your smile.
Call us to set up your free consultation today.
The auto service specialist at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service can change your oil, fix your brakes, align your vehicle, make that check engine light go away, and more. Great service from great people at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Is it time to replace your old gutters? Call Schwartz Seamless Gutters and protect your home with new seamless technology. No seams, no leaks. With free estimates in 2 days or less and workmanship guaranteed, our service is as seamless as our gutters.
All right, we are back. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here. Nicolay Bank. Nicolay Bank offers personal banking at its best. Locations in Stevens Point, Wausau, Colby, Medford, Edgar, and Merrill. Or learn more at nicolaybank.com.
Leading off the bottom of the 30 for the Double Days, the first baseman, number 11, Brandon Toback.
So Brandon Toback will lead things off here, 1 for 1 here today. RBI singled back in the first. Of course, he was the last at bat, although because the out was on the bases, he'll get a fresh count here in the bottom half of inning number 3. Lown fastball in there, and it's 0-1 now to Toback. So Stevens Point now back in this one, 4-4 here. They get 4 runs in that top half of inning number 3. That one catches the corner, and it's 0-2 now to Toback. So Lown working out of the stretch here. Pitch on the way. That one's going to miss outside, and it's 1-2 now to Toback. So both squads here with 4 hits here today. The 4s are wild in terms of the hits and runs here out on the scoreboard. 2s are wild on the pitch count here. It's 2-2 now to Toback. Lowndes 2-2 offering, that one lifted out of play and going to get foul. So bottom of third here, whole new baseball game upon us. I know Ryan and I were kind of talking about that in the pregame. Baseball, like golf, one of those sports where things can change quickly, good, bad, or otherwise. You're never necessarily out of it until that last out either way. So count remains 2-2 to Toback. The 2-2 offering. Lown misses outside. Count goes now to full. Mason Winkler over in the on-deck area here for the Doubledays. That one hit up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. So the second hit here today for Brandon Toback. So a leadoff single here in this bottom half of inning number 3.
Number 21, Mason Winkler.
That'll bring up the catcher here in Mason Winkler, who was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance back in the first. Royce Lown keeping an eye there on Toback. The fastball, that one's going to miss outside, and it's 1-0 now to Winkler. Lown set here from the stretch. 1-0 offering is going to miss down low, and it's 2-0. Ben Byer, the on-deck hitter here for the Doubledays. So Winkler, as we mentioned, hit by a pitch back in that first. That one's lined foul off the left field foul fencing area there. So the count's going to go now to 2-1. Coming across the 2 o'clock hour. Lowndes 2-1 offering now to Winkler. That one a swing and a miss, and it's even at 2-2 now. Lown will step off there momentarily. Re-engages here, getting a sign from Ostrowski. The 2-2 offering, runner on the go. There'll be a throw down, and Toback's going to be in there with a stolen base on that. Count goes full, meanwhile, to Mason Winkler. That ball fouled back. Count remains full to Winkler. Ryan Rasmussen doing a great job on our production crew, keeping all of us in line here. Brandon Barincott on the call here for Zaleski Sports. Out here all weekend for this 3-day Legion tournament here in Wisconsin Rapids. Full count coming up here to Winkler. The 3-2 offering is swung on, hit to Richter and right. He'll camp out under it. He'll make the play there to retire Mason Winkler for the first out here. The F9 to retire Mason. One away now for left fielder Ben Byer, who is 0 for 1 here today. Flew out to left field back in the first. He's got a runner in scoring position in Toback down at second. Lowndes set the pitch. That one fouled and out of play. So it's 0-1 now to Byer. Lowndes 0-1 pitch to Byer. That one, let's see if they, yep, they'll say it went. So it's 0-2 now to Byer. That one will miss just outside, and count now goes 1-2 to Ben Byer. The 1-2 from Lone. That one's outside. It's even at 2-2 now. Again, all tied up here. Bottom half, inning number 3. 1 out. Runner on second here for the Doubledays. Ben Byer here with a 2-2 count. Lowndes 2-2 offering. That one's going to miss, and it's going to go full now. Lowndes getting the sign from Strowski. Pitch on the way is in there for a called strike, and the second out here, and that's a Serpro Jamie Wenzel strikeout there for Royce Lowndes. 2 away for back to the top of the order, and Ethan Winkler. Ethan 0 for 1 today, was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the first, and then he flew out to right field over to Richter back in the second. Third plate appearance here today. Lowndes misses outside, and it's 1-0. So Royce has pitched pretty well here in his basically third inning of work. That one's going to miss, and it's going to go now to 2-0 to Winkler. Again, Ethan, the top of the order here for the Doubledays. The 2-0 here from Lowndes. That one fastball, and that one's in there, and it's a called strike, and it's 2-1. Royce, 2-1 offering. That one lifted, and that's going to get out of play. And that's going to make a nice loud thud noise that'll keep you on your toes here if you're not already. Ryan, he's on his toes all the time, this guy right here, I tell you. Never a day that goes by that he is Johnny on the spot, as they say. It's 2-2 now to Winkler. The 2-2, that one fouled back. So Royce just going past the 52 pitches here in relief here of Peyton Flees, who started this one out here for Stevens Point. And that one's going to get away, and it's going to go to full now to Ethan Winkler here. 2 outs. Full count coming up. The full count offering. And that one in there for a called strike, and the third and final out here, and another Serb-Pro Jamie Wenzel strikeout here, but we are through 3 innings here. So 1 hit comes across, a runner stranded here, no runs, and we will move to the 4th inning of play here, all knotted up at 4 apiece. You are listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hofffavor Real Estate Group. 4th inning coming up in just 1 moment.
Is it time to replace your old gutters? Call Schwartz Seamless Gutters and protect your home with new seamless technology. No seams, no leaks. With free estimates in 2 days or less and workmanship guaranteed, our service is as seamless as our gutters.
The doctor basically said, you're going to be in a wheelchair and walking with a walker. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's my life. That's my life story. I looked around on the internet and I found Shai at Next Step Prosthetics. And I came in and met with him, and I felt so comfortable here, so unfearful. He said, we're going to get you up and walking.
Call to set up a free, no obligation evaluation. Next Step Prosthetics, the fit for you.
In every department at Dull Auto, you'll find people who've been in the industry for decades. Sales staff with a deep knowledge, not just of cars, but how to build relationships. A service team who...
All right, we are back here, top half of inning number 4. This is Anthony Racek. Or Tony 0 for 1 here today. He flew out to first back in the 2nd. Bixler back out for his 4th inning of work here for the Double Days. And Racek looks at ball 1, and it's 1-0 now. Pitch on the way. That one is in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. So Stevens Point gets their 4 runs in the that 3rd inning. Bixler's pitch misses high, and it's 2-1. The 2-1 offering to Racek. That one hit out to, and that'll be down for a base hit for Tony Racek. To lead things off here for the Sixers, back to the top of the order, and this will be Royce Lown here. He flew out to second back in the 3rd. So the top of the order here, Royce 0 for 1 here today. And it's 0-1 to Royce. Coy Karalunas, the on-deck hitter here. Want to give thanks to Home Furniture. Fill your home with the best from Home Furniture. Sofas, sectionals, beds, recliners, lighting, tables, rugs, and so much more. Home Furniture with locations on Grand Avenue in Wisconsin Rapids and Post Road in Plover. So Bixler checking back on Racek there. Allen is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2 now to Royce. Bixler's 0-2 offering. That one hit into the air. That's going to be Dawson Burrington over to make the play here. The F4 to retire Royce Lown here for the first out. That'll bring up Coy Karalunas here, who is 1 for 2 here this afternoon. Singled, scored a run, stole a base back in the 3rd, and flew out to 3rd back in back in the first. And as Mike Steinwagner here had alluded to the pencil bat here. Mike joining us here for a moment. That ball lifted into the air. That's in foul territory, and he's going to make the play right into the netting there. Wow, good play there for the second out. He was able to keep that one in play. That one looked like it was going to maybe get there, but a nice play there made by Mason Winkler. So a couple away now, and Zach Richter coming up. Zach 0 for 1 here today. He flew out to left field and walked this afternoon, so did score a run back in the third. Runner on the go. That one lifted out into shallow center field, and coming in to make the play is just a nice play out there by Ethan Winkler to get Richter for the third and final out here. So no runs, a hit, a runner left on here, no errors. We'll move to the bottom of the four now here. All knotted up at 4 apiece. You are listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoffavor Real Estate Group. Bottom four coming up in just one moment here.
In every department at Dull Auto, you'll find people who've been in the industry for decades. Sales staff with a deep knowledge, not just of cars, but how to build relationships. A service team who always double checks each other's work. Dozens of people you may never meet who've been working for years to make buying and servicing a car feel fast and easy. In over 100 years at Dull Auto, we've learned to value experience. After working with our team, you'll value our experience too. Dull Auto, simple.
Shuda Funeral Home in Stevens Point and Plover is your local, family-owned and operated funeral home providing families with compassionate, individualized, and affordable services when you need it most. The loss of a loved one is a difficult fact of life that Shuda Funeral Home will ensure you won't have to face alone. Shuda Funeral Home will guide you through the process from in-person visitations to creating obituaries and tributes. Pre-planning can also be a great way to ease these topics for your family. Learn more at shudafuneral.com or bring your questions and stop in.
All right, we are back here. New pitcher here for the Sixers. That looks like that's the right-hander Dayton Kobach, number 2 here for Stevens Point, in relief of Royce Lown, who pitched pretty well, I would say, in relief of Peyton Fleas. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here today, Ridgetop Exteriors. Just like these players bring their best to the field, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com. That is Ridgetop Exteriors. So Appleton will have 2, 3, and 4 coming up here. That's Dawson, Burrington, Jackson, Sabrowski, and Dan Deek here for the double day. So 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Dawson 1 for 1 here today. He scored a couple of runs, singled, and stole a base here. So he walked and scored a run back in the first, singled, scored a run, stole a base back in the second. And his third plate appearance here this afternoon for Dawson. Again, as we mentioned in our Stevens Point Auto Select pregame show, the double days will be back in action for the 6 o'clock game here tonight. Sixers will be on tap then probably about 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Same field here. Kobach, that one lifted out into right field to Richter. Richter will make the play in right field to retire Dawson Burrington for the first out here. So the F9 to retire Burrington. That'll bring up the right fielder here in Jackson Sabrowski. Jackson 0 for 1 here today. Walked and scored a run back in the first. Struck out looking back in the second. And Kobach now working from the stretch here for the Sixers. Dayton in there with a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. So Dayton, we typically see, he's kind of one of those catchers here. Him and Matthew split time behind the plate here for the Sixers, but That ball hit into right field to Richter, and that's going to get past Richter, and that'll be a base hit. So a double here for Jackson Sabrowski. 1 out double.
Now up the DH, number 22, Dan Deek.
So that'll bring up the designated hitter, cleanup hitter number 22, and Dan Deek 2 for 2 here today. The 2 RBI single back in the first, and then singled back in the second. Looking to add to that. Sabrowski with that 1 out double here to get himself into scoring position. We're in the bottom half of inning number 4 here, all knotted up at 4 apiece. Dayton Kobach working from the stretch here for Stevens punt. The bunt shown. And it'll go to 1-0 now to Deek. Dayton's 1-0 pitch. That one will get out of play, and it's foul. Count goes now to 1-1. The pitch from Kobach. That one lifted into the air. That should be playable, and Karolounis will make the out there. The F3 to retire Dan Deek for the second out here. And that'll bring up the third baseman here, number 5 hitter, and Rylan Winkler.
The third baseman, number 13, Rylan Winkler.
Rylan is 0 for 1 here today. Struck out in the first, was hit by a pitch back in the second. 2 away here with Sabrowski down at second. Kobach working with 2 outs here from the stretch. Pitch on the way. That one will miss inside, and it's 1-0 now to Winkler. The 1-0 to Winkler is going to be outside, and it's 2-0. TJ Parker, the on-deck hitter here for the Doubledays. Pitch on the way here from Kobach. That one will miss. And it's going to go now to 3-0 to Winkler. Pitch on the way here, and that one is going to get outside. That's going to get past Ostrowski, so Sabrowski is going to get down to third on that. So you're going to have runners at the corner now, 2 away, and that'll bring up TJ Parker. Reached on the E6 back in the second, and then flew out to right field back in the first. So Sabrowski down at third and Winkler over at first. And Winkler will steal second on that one. As you might say, defensive indifference perhaps, I think, is the terminology for that. It's 0-1 now to Parker. That one misses, and it's 1-1 now to TJ. Coach Opiola going to say a few words. We'll stay right here. I want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here today, one of them being Stevens Point Orthopedics. Stevens Point Orthopedics is proud to provide complimentary sports physicals to Central Wisconsin athletes this summer. Call 715-0701 to schedule your appointment. That's 715-344-0701. That's Stevens Point Orthopedics. So runners here at second and third were in the bottom half of inning number 4, all tied up here at 4 apiece. Coach Bobby Opiola out to say a few words with his right-hander and Dayton Kobach in relief here of Royce Lown and Peyton Flees, who started this one out on the hill here for the Sixers. So it's 1-1 now to Parker. And that ball hit out to Richter in right. He'll range over and make the play out in right field, and the F9 to retire TJ Parker for the third out here. So a hit does come through, though. No runs, couple left on here. We'll move to the 5th inning of play. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoffavor Real Estate Group. 5th inning coming up in just one moment.
After a couple years of this, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That's where Midstate Technical College comes in. Got a passion for helping people? Maybe you like cars. Are you into science? Are you good with computers? No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options. Stop getting by and level up today.
Hey, you're tuned in to Better Halves.
Skip, I love my hometown, and I want a health plan that feels the same way. So, what are your favorite local date spots?
Oh, yeah, I know like all the date spots in Eau Claire.
Jane, I'm Steve from Security. I've lived here in Wisconsin my whole life, and that means I understand your health coverage needs better.
By the way, Doug, it's Eau Claire. I have a dozen Eclairs in my dressing room.
All right, we are back here. One of our many game day sponsors here today. That's the Rock and Roll Cafe. Find a great variety of breakfast options at the Rock and Roll Cafe. Breakfast, lunch, Friday fish fry, and service with a smile. Open daily for breakfast and lunch, and only on Stanley Street in Stevens Point. So the Sixers sending up 4, 5, and 6 here in the top half of inning number 5. That's Matthew Ostrowski, Caden Weinfurter, and Braden Marschke here. So 4, 5, and 6. Matthew is 1 for 2 here today. Singled and scored a run back in the third, and then flew out to center back in the first. And that one misses, and it's 1-1 now to Ostrowski. Of course, Matt Bixler out for his 5th inning of work here. That ball going to get out of play into the bleachers. Thud. So it's going to go to 1-2 now to Ostrowski. And that ball will be hit out of play and foul. Count will remain 1-2. And that one misses down low, and it's even at 2-2 now. So Bixler still pitching pretty well, just at, looks like around 49 pitches, I think, is what I'm showing here. That one hit on the ground over to short, and gloved, and the play made there, the 6-3 ground out to retire Matthew Ostrowski for the first out here, and I believe that was TJ Parker there to make the play over to Toback. So 1 away now, and Caden Weinfurter coming up. Caden reached down the E7 back in the third, scored a run in that sequence, and then singled back in the second here. So 1 for 2 here today. One hit that led things off in the second for the Sixers. It's 1-0 now to Weinfurter. Pitch on the way. That one is in there for a called strike, and it's 1-1. And that one's going to be in there for a base hit. So Caden Weinfurter with his second hit here this afternoon in this first of 2 games here for the Sixers, a 1-out single. And that'll bring up center fielder here in Braden Marschke. 0 for 2 here today. Reached on an error back in the third.
Center fielder, number 16, Braden Marschke.
They had that sac bunt back in the second. And that one going to be hit up the middle, and that'll be a base hit. So a couple of singles here. A couple of 1-out singles. Weinfurter, then Marschke. And that'll bring up Dayton Kobach now, who will hit in the number 7 spot here.
The pitcher, number 2, Dayton Kobach.
So Kobach here with 1 away. Fastball, that one's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 now to Dayton. Dayton here, the pitcher in this one. Looking to try to help his cause a little bit. That one misses outside, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 offer, and that one lifted into the air. That's going to be Toback there calling for it. He'll make the call. He'll make the play for the second out here to retire Kobach. The F3 here to retire Dayton. That'll bring up, looks like we'll have Austin Gray now, number 1, it looks like. Hitting here in the number 8 spot in lieu of Tyler Cluck. Want to give thanks to Fleet Farm. No matter what your everyday life looks like, Fleet Farm has you covered at the best prices guaranteed. Auto, pet, bird, farm, snacks. Fleet Farm has everything you need at all the lowest prices. That's Fleet Farm. So we saw Austin last night pitching in that first game, the first of 2. Pitched pretty well, in my opinion. That ball hit out to left field, hit pretty well. And the play will be made out in left field. So Gray retired on the F7. And the third out here. So we're through 4.5 innings complete. The Sixers do get a couple of hits. No runs, no errors, couple left on here. We'll move to the bottom half of inning number 5. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoff-Favor Real Estate Group. Bottom 5 coming up in just one moment.
Does your roof need attention? Don't replace it, restore it with Seamless Commercial Roofing. Our process is guaranteed and a fraction of the cost of replacement with no downtime. When your roof needs attention, call Seamless Commercial Roofing in Marshfield.
Is your business, church, or organization getting a fair deal on your copier contracts? Do you even know how much you're spending? Bauer & Fine Business Technologies has been in the office technology industry for 70 years. We have an award-winning service department, and customers love our fair and flexible service contracts. If you're currently a customer, thank you. If you currently work with one of our competitors, let's talk. We can tell you if you're overpaying or getting a good deal. BBT, we want to be the easiest vendor you work with. b-bt.com.
Rich, creamy, and fun. Point Craft Soda. Caffeine-free, made with 100% real sugar. From Stevens Point Brewery.
All right, bringing it right back here. Bottom 5 coming up here, still all tied up here at 4 apiece. Appleton will send up 7, 8, and 9 here. That would be Brandon Toback, followed by Mason Winkler and Ben Byer, assuming there are no changes in terms of the order here. So Toback will lead things off here in the bottom half of inning number 5 here. And Brandon 2 for 2 here today. RBI singled back in the first, had that RBI or that single back in the third. Dayton Kobach is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 now to Toback. Dayton working out of the stretch here for Stevens Point. And that one just misses now, and it's 1-1 to Brandon. Kobach's 1-1 offering to Toback. That one misses, and it's now 2-1. The 2-1 pitch misses inside now. Hitter's count coming up here, 3-1 to Brandon Toback. And that one in there for a called strike, and it's full count now. Dayton getting the outside corner there. Catching that first strike, it's full count now. Three-two pitch on the way. That one fouled back, so it remains full here to Toback. Pitch on the way. That one fouled back, so it remains full count here. In the bottom half of inning number 5 here. And Kobach misses outside, so a walk to lead things off here for the Double Days, and that'll bring up the catcher here in Mason Winkler. Mason 0 for 1 here this afternoon. He flew out to right field back in the third, and then he was hit by a pitch back in the first. So Toback aboard here for the Double Days. Dayton Kobach from the stretch, the pitch. That one fouled back. It's 0-1. And Toback on the move. There'll be a throw down to second, but it will not be in time for Brandon Toback there, who swipes second base. So he is now in scoring position here for Appleton. It's 1-1 now to Winkler. Kobach getting his signs here from Ostrowski. The 1-1 offering here to Winkler. Fastball in there, and it's 1-2 now. So Dayton doing a nice job of working the corners here today. That's 1-2. And that one just missed now, so it's going to go even at 2-2. That one hit out to Richter and right. That's going to be playable and caught there by Richter and right. But the runner will advance the tag up there, so Toback's going to get down to third. The first out here. And that'll bring up the left fielder here in Ben Byer, 0 for 2 here this afternoon. Flew out to left field back in the first, struck out looking back in the third. His third plate appearance here today for the Doubledays, with the one out here and the go-ahead run 90 feet away here for Appleton. Weinfurter in over at short. That ball hit and not going to be able to make the play out and left, and that's going to score a run. And that will score a run on that, so Toback going to come across to score the fifth go-ahead run here for Appleton. So the looks like the E7 there. So back to the top of the order here, and that one bunt being shown. Koback will give chase to, and that's going to be a tough play, and that's going to be a bunt single for Ethan Winkler. So that's going to get Byer down to third. Ethan Winkler down to first.
Second baseman, number 28, Dawson Burrington.
And that'll bring up the second baseman here in Dawson Burrington, 1 for 2 here today. A couple of runs scored. He walked back in the first. Runners at the corner, one away here for Burrington. Runner on the move here, and no throw there, and Winkler's going to get second base on that. So now Appleton with a couple runners in scoring position here. The 1-0 here to Burrington. That one's going to miss downstairs and outside, and it's 2-0. So Koback here, 2-0 to Dawson Burrington. Pitch on the way. That one is in there for a called strike, and it's now 2-1. You've got Byer down at third and Winkler down at second. Appleton with the one run here this half of inning number 5. That one fouled back, and it's even at 2-2 now to Dawson. So the 2-2 pitch coming up here to Burrington from Koback. Weinfurter and up on the grass there. That one's going to miss high. It's going to go now to full. So Caleb Thomas now at first base. Weinfurter at short. Both of them playing in on the turf here. Potentially to prevent that run from coming home. That one's going to be hit out to right field. That's going to be an RBI and maybe a 2 RBI throw coming home, and it's not going to be in time. And Dawson Burrington with a 2 RBI single. His second hit here today. So that'll plate Byer as well as Winkler there. And we'll get a mound visit here from head coach Bobby Opiola. It looks like we'll have a change of pitchers here as well. With that, we'll take a brief commercial pause. We'll bring it right back. You are listening to and watching Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hoffavor Real Estate Group, Bringing it right back in just one moment.
Hi, this is Jill from Home Furniture and Design. Since 1970 and 4 generations, our family has been proudly offering quality furniture like Lazy Boy, Serta, and Amish to Central Wisconsin. We also offer free in-home design with our professionally trained designers to help you create a space that is uniquely yours, whether it's just a sofa or the entire home. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love Home Furniture. West Grand Avenue, Wisconsin Rapids, and Post Road in Plover.
Are you tired of being a boring old tree, bird, or mythical war hero? Find the right job for you at Express Employment. Stop today and discuss positions that fit your abilities and qualifications, leading you to the perfect job. Always local, always strategically selected to match your skill set with local employers. There's a perfect job out there. Let Express Employment professionals help you find it. In Wausau, Stevens Point, Medford, and Marshfield. Find jobs and apply online at expresspros.com.
Selling your car to Doll Auto is quick and easy. Bring your title and keys, and you'll have a check in as little as 30 minutes. Still owe money on your vehicle? No problem. We'll take care of it. Doll Auto. Simple.
All right, we are back here. Coy Karalunas out in relief here of Dayton Kobach here with one out here in this bottom half of inning number 5 here now. Appleton has plated 3 runs here in this half inning. Now go ahead 7-4 here. So that 2 RBI single for Dawson Burrington collecting his second hit here this afternoon. And that'll give way to Jackson Sabrowski here. I want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here. Made a Custom Apparel. Made a Custom Apparel specializes in providing quality decorated apparel, including from corporate casual, team uniforms, and promotional items to sporting goods and awards. Find just what you need to keep you looking great. Learn more at madeacustom.com. That is madeacustom.com. So Sabrowski now is 1 for 2 here today. That one's fouled back, and it's going to go now to 0-1. Jackson doubled back in the 4th. It's 0-1 now to Jackson with 1 out, and Dawson Burrington down at first here for Appleton. Karalunas working from the stretch, the pitch. That one misses upstairs, and it's 1-1. Burrington on the move, and he'll steal second base on that. That one will miss, and it's 2-1 now to Jackson. Karalunas getting the signs here from Ostrowski. Burrington in scoring position for Appleton. That one is swing and a miss, and a good pitch there by Karalunas. It goes now to even at 2-2. Karalunas goes to the off speed, and it goes full now, so it's full count coming up to Jackson Sabrowski. And as we mentioned here, Appleton has tacked on 3 runs here in this 5th. Stevens Point, the conclusion of this one, will have 1 more here today against Menominee. And that one hit over to second. Kobach will glove that, make the play there, the 4-3 to get Sabrowski for the second out here, but Burrington will move to third on that one.
Number 22, Dan Deek.
That'll bring the designated hitter in Dan Deek. 2 for 3 here this afternoon. Had a 2 RBI single back in the first, singled back in the second, and flew out to first back in the fourth. Carolinus offering that one's going to be downstairs, and it's 1-0 now to Deke. That one lifted out to Kolbach, who will call for it at second and make the play. And the final out here, so the F4 to retire Dan Deke, but not before Appleton scores 3 runs here and a couple hits. 5 are in the books here. We'll move to the 6th inning of play, or listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from our friends from the Hoffavor Real Estate Group. 6th inning coming up in just one moment.
Hi, I'm Josh Marks, owner of Infinity Exteriors. 9 out of 10 brand new roofs can't pass a simple manufacturer warranty inspection, meaning 9 out of 10 brand new roofs have no warranty. Infinity operates on principles instilled in my Marine Corps service: honor, courage, and commitment. Infinity is meticulous craftsmanship, unbeatable quality, and always at the best price. Infinity buys more, pays less, passing those savings directly to you. We're booking new roofs, siding, and windows. Call today.
Hello, Wisconsin. Felt's Dairy Store in Stevens Point is your spot for family fun. Wisconsin style at the farm. Come have an ice cream or some of their daily made fresh cheese curds while observing the robotic barn milking the cows. Ask for a tour of the farm or let the kids see the cows up close. Various Wisconsin-made dairy and beef products, seasonal decor, and outdoor activities are just the start of the family fun that awaits you at the Felt's Dairy Store, just a half mile from Walmart in Stevens Point. Felt's Dairy Store, food, family, and fun.
Mike Steinwagner. That ball hit. Burrington will range over to his left there to make the play, and that'll retire Fleas for the second out here. So 2 outs here, and Coy Carolinus coming up. Good timing with his pencil bat, right? Right as we get.
He signs autographs with that too.
Carolinus in there for called strike. I use the mechanical pencil as I keep score here, so I've yet to see a mechanical pencil bat, but I bet that's not far off. I like the trajectory of the ink as it. Well, I guess it's the lead. We'll say. The 1-1 from Kern. That one's going to be chopped foul, and it's going to go 1-2 now to Carolinus. The 1-2 here from Kern. Breaking ball. That one just misses, and it goes even at 2-2 now to Coy. And Carolinus with a base hit, his second hit here today. So 2 for 4 today for Coy. The 2-out single, that'll give way here now to Zach Richter. Zach 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Couple of flyouts and a walk here today. Kern's pitch, that one hit over to third. They'll get the force there at second, and the third and final out to get Richter on the fielder's choice. So Stevens Point gets a hit. No runs, a runner left on, no errors. And we will move now to the bottom half of inning number 6. Appleton out front here, 7-4. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hofffavor Real Estate Group. Bottom 6 coming up in just one moment.
Imagine if your orthopedic clinic, surgery center, and physical therapy were all in one place with one team. At Stevens Point Orthopedics, you'll have a clinic where a friendly voice always answers your call. If you need further care, it's a short walk to meet our surgery center team, or down the hall to meet a group of our physical therapists. There is one space and one team for the best orthopedic care in central Wisconsin. That's Stevens Point Orthopedics, world-class treatment and hometown care.
Selling your car to Dahl Auto is quick and easy. Bring your title and keys, and you'll have a check in as little as 30 minutes. Still owe money on your vehicle? No problem. We'll take care of it. Dahl Auto. Simple.
The auto service specialist at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service can change your oil, fix your brakes, align your vehicle, make that check engine light go away, and more. Great service from great people at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
All right, we are back. Want to give thanks to all of our game day sponsors here today, one of them being Shuta Funeral Home. Shuta Funeral Services in Stevens Point and Plover is here to help you with all of your funeral needs with 2 convenient locations and a personal local touch. Let their experienced staff serve your family. Learn more at shootafuneral.com. That's shootafuneral.com. So Coy Carolinus out for his second inning of work here for the Sixers, and he'll have 5, 6, and 7 coming up here for the double days of Appleton and Rylan Winkler, TJ Parker, and Brandon Toback. So Rylan 0 for 1 here today with a couple of walks. That one's going to get fouled back here, and it's 0-1 now to Winkler. The 0-1 here from Carolinus working out of the windup here for Stevens Point. Fastball, that one will miss, and it's 1-1. And that one is swing and a miss to Winkler. It goes now to 1-2. The 1-2 from Carolinus to Winkler. That one's going to go behind him now on a inside pitch here, and it's 2-2 now. Carolinus 2-2 pitch, misses high. It's full now. in the bottom of the 6th inning here. Appleton with a 3-run lead here. And that ball is going to be hit foul. So count will remain at full here. Today's game brought to you in part by Blinds and Designs by Kelly Premier Auto Body, Dahl Automotive, Stevens Point Brewery, Lee Ayres Jewelers, Point Heating and Cooling, and Portesi Pizza. So the 3-2 offering here to Winkler. And that one fouled back. Lunas from the windup, the pitch. And that one will also get out of play. Count remains full. The Menominee squad here, they'll play this next game on this field here with Stevens Point. We'll have that one here as well on Zaleski Sports. We'll have a brief pause. I believe that will be a separate stream. But we'll have that probably around, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes-ish or so, give or take, following the conclusion of this one. Far from over here. And Winkler reaches on the base on ball. And that'll bring up TJ Parker. TJ is 0 for 3 here this afternoon. He flew out back to right in the 4th, reached on the E6 back in the 2nd, and flew out to right back in the 1st. Winkler with a lead there. He's on the move. Throw down, and it is not going to be in time, and Winkler's going to be in there with a stolen base. Parker takes that strike. It's 0-1. But now you've got Winkler in the scoring position here for Appleton. Bunt being shown. He'll retreat on that, and it goes to 1-1. That one going to get foul territory, coming over and unable to make the play in foul territory, but a good effort there by the first baseman there, and Caleb Thomas. Lunas, the long look in here from the stretch. That ball hit out to left field, playable. And the play will be made out in left there, so Parker retired on the F7 for the first out here, and that'll bring up Brandon Toback. Brandon 2 for 2 here today. RBI singled in the first, single back in the third, and then had the walk and run scored back in the 5th. Toback fouls that one back. It's 0-1. That one will miss inside, and it's 1-1 now to Toback. The 1-1 from Lunas, that one is in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2 now. Carolinus 1-2 offering to toe back. Hit on the ground over to second. And the 4-3 ground out here for the second out. But Winkler will move to third on that one, and that'll bring up Mason Winkler now. Mason 0 for 2 here this afternoon. Hit by a pitch back in the first. Flew out to right back in the third, and then had the sac fly to right back in the fifth here. Breaking ball, that one just missed, and it's now 1-0 to Winkler. Ball chopped over to third. And unable to make the play there, so Winkler will get the RBI in that one, and Rylan Winkler comes in to score the 8th run here. And that'll bring up Ben Byer now. Looks like we'll get a courtesy runner there. That's Jameis Heimerl over courtesy running over at first for Mason Winkler. Byer 0 for 3 here today. That one's going to miss, and it's going to go 1-0 now to Ben. Eight for our score, bottom half of inning 6 here. Carolinus keeping a close watchful eye there on Jameis Heimerl. And that one's going to be a tough play. That's going to get down for a base hit. And that'll be a double for Byer. So now you've got a couple runners in scoring position still, the 2 outs here, and back to the top of the order with Ethan Winkler coming up. He had that bunt single back in the 5th. Scored a run as well. Carolinus breaking ball, that one just missed, and it's 1-0 now to Winkler. So run a couple hits here thus far for the Doubledays in their half of inning number 6. That one's going to miss inside. Count will move to 2-0. The 2-0 here to Winkler. Fastball in there, and it's 2-1 now. The 2-1 from Carolinus. That one's outside. Hitters count now 3-1 to Ethan Winkler. Dawson Burrington over in the on-deck circle here for the Doubledays. A 2-hit day for Dawson. And a swing and a miss there now, so count moves to full here. The 3-2 offering. That one lifted into the air, giving chase as Carolinus. He'll make the play there in foul territory to retire Ethan Winkler for the 3rd out here. So 6 innings in the books here. We'll move to the 7th inning here. It's 8-4 our score. Appleton out front. Last call here for the Sixers. You're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here this afternoon on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from our friends from the Hoff Favor Real Estate Group. Bringing it right back in just one moment.
For the best food in town, look no further than Rock and Roll Cafe on Stanley Street in Stevens Point. This locally owned, 50s-themed diner loves to support their community while providing a full menu of breakfast and lunch options, along with all-day breakfasts and Friday fish fry. Enjoy a fun, family atmosphere with delicious meals made from scratch, including skillets and tasty burgers. Dine in or take out is welcome, Mondays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Treat yourself to a mouth-watering experience at the Rock and Roll Cafe on Stanley Street in Stevens Point.
At Ridgetop, we are your trusted, local, affordable exterior renovations expert. Isn't that right, Bo?
Exactly, especially when we are working on someone's biggest investment.
Can you give us an example, Bo?
Well, there was this house. We replaced the roofing, siding, and windows. Then, they left a 5-star review.
One of our thousands of 5-star reviews?
Exactly.
For your free, no obligation estimate, call us today or go to ridgetopexteriors.com.
The auto service specialist at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service can change your oil, fix your brakes, align your vehicle, make that check engine light go away, and more. Great service from great people at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
All right, we are back here. Last call for the Sixers. They'll have 4, 5, and 6 here. Matthew Ostrowski will lead things off here. Brady Kern back out on the hill here for the double days. 8-4 our score here.
So you only get like the whole number?
So the Sixers here trailing by 4. Kern, that ball lifted into the air into second. Dawson Burrington calling for it at second. He'll make the play there to retire Ostrowski for the first out here. The F4 to get Ostrowski, and that'll bring up the shortstop here in Caden Weinferter. 2 for 3 here today for Caden. Couple of hits with a run scored. And Kern in there with a fastball, and it's 0-1 now to Weinferter. Breaking ball misses high. It's 1-1.
So we've got Rapids and
the 1-1 pitch here from Kern. That one's down and out, and it's 2-1. Again, we saw Caden out on the hill last night in that second game and nearly went the distance, and again, pitched very well, I thought, last night. Just was not able, just by way of the pitch count, was not able to finish that one off. But again, thought he pitched very well against Kaukauna here. That one chopped up the middle. That's going to be ranging over to make the play in the 6-3 ground out to get Weinferter for the second out here. So 2 away now for the center fielder, Braden Marschke. Braden 1 for 3 here today.
Now up the center fielder, number 16, Braden Marschke.
Off speed misses high. It's 1-0 out to Marschke. That one fouled back, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch here to Marschke. That one fouled back into the netting. It's now 1-2. Kern looking to try to close this one down here. Braden has other thoughts. That one hit over to short. Ranging over to make the play in the 6-3 ground out. And that will be the third and final out, and that will be a final out here in Wisconsin Rapids as Appleton gets the 8-4 victory. So Appleton 8-4 over Stevens Point. We'll have our Nasonville Dairy postgame show, I think, just by virtue of timing and everything like that. And I know Stevens Point will turn around and play another one here probably within the next 25 minutes-ish or so. Of course, Nasonville Dairy with fresh cheese curds made daily. Get your cheese curds, Nasonville Dairy in Marshfield, Curtis, or NasonvilleDairy.com. We'll take a brief commercial pause. We'll wrap this one up here on this live stream here. Again, you're listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hofffavor Real Estate Group. We'll bring it back here in just one moment to put a final bow on this one in just one moment.
Good day. My name is Ken Hyman, and welcome to Nasonville Dairy here in central Wisconsin, Marshfield, Wisconsin, as a matter of fact. Nasonville Dairy actually goes back to 1885. We are the oldest plant in Wood County. When our father brought us here in the early 1960s, we ran 7,500 pounds of milk a day. We now run 1.8 million pounds of milk a day. We buy dairy milk from 200 dairy farmers here in central Wisconsin, produce it, and ship it all over the world. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Pizza Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Fear, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Keflatiri, Kefla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. This has allowed us to go to a lot of different countries. Our furthest accounts are now in China, Japan, Canada, Saudi Arabia. We do ship to Mexico, as well as a number of other places throughout the world. This is what we call Cheese Making 101. We tried to walk you through the cheese plant today, and we're in hopes that you see our people, what they're doing, and the amount of work that goes into producing the products that we hope you enjoy. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Pizza Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Fear, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Keflatiri, Kefla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. And the cheese be with you.
All right, we are back. That was, of course, our friends at Nasonville Dairy. Again, Nasonville Dairy with fresh cheese curds made daily. Get your cheese curds at Nasonville Dairy in Marshfield, Curtis, or NasonvilleDairy.com, as you just saw. Again, a final out here. 8-4 was our final score here. Stevens Point, this thing was tied up at 4 apiece here, but Appleton was able to tack on 4 more runs as we got into that 5th and 6th inning here. And was able to put that one out of reach, basically. So Stevens Point falls in that one 8-4. They will turn around and play another one here in about maybe, 15, 20 or so minutes here. We'll get this one wrapped up here again on Zaleski Sports. We'll have the next stream here, Stevens Point against Menominee. That will be on a separate stream, again, probably 15, 20 minutes-ish or so. Be sure to tune into that. You've been listening to and watching American Legion Baseball here today on Zaleski Sports, brought to you in part from the Hofffavor Real Estate Group. Wrapping this one up, Brandon Barrencout along with Ryan Rasmussen. We'll be back on a separate stream here for Stevens Point Sixer action against Menominee in about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Have yourselves a good afternoon. We'll see you back here in just a moment.